folks, and welcome to the Snowy's Camping Show with Ben and Lauren. Which one is my chalice of questions here? This one?
This is the chalice of questions.
Thanks for tuning in again this week. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you're listening to your podcast, whether that be on YouTube or your favourite podcast app, or you might even be watching us on our new vodcast on Spotify.
Oh, yeah, it's on Spotify now.
How you going, Ben?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So just pull a question out today.
You can join in the conversation at Snowy's Camping Banter, the Facebook group as well. If you've got any questions like what we're doing today, because this is some of the, I don't know if what we've got in there are customer questions because we haven't asked the question for a while.
I think this one came from an in-store customer.
Did it? Okay. If you've got any short, sharp questions you want us to answer on a short episode like this, let us know in the group and we'll throw it in the mix. If your question gets pulled out, we'll send you one of these
stubby
holders and a sticker. And if anyone's missing, I think
Have you got one of these on your car?
Yeah.
Put one across my
forehead. It's been there a long time. I think I've got
Do you know what? This reminds me, sorry, I've interrupted you, but this reminds me, I remember reading in the news once that somebody sold their forehead for a tattoo, and it was like a promo or a competition that a brand was running, and they were paying somebody like $100,000 to tattoo the brand name on their forehead. And it just reminded me of that because I've wrapped the Snowy sticker around my forehead. So now like an absolute tool.
Do you want me to like trace that on your head now so you can go straight to the tattoo shop?
But would you do that? Would you do that?
What, put Snowies on my forehead?
Would you get a brand tattooed to your forehead? How much money would they need to offer you to actually do that?
I just don't think I would. I can't see there being enough.
If someone was like $1 million cold hard cash tax free.
If it was not my
tattoo
forehead,
Snowies onto your forehead.
If it was not my forehead, I'd probably put it.
What, your butt? Who's going to be seeing your butt?
Well, I don't know.
Where else?
Why do you go straight? You go, oh, not forehead. It must be your butt then. Like,
no, but I mean,
no other
where
part
else
of the body you could put a tattoo.
But what other area of your body is prime real estate? I never see your shoulders. That's why they're so wide.
I'm part of Surf Life Savings, so I'm at the beach swimming all the time.
In a rashie though?
No.
Really?
No, you can't swim in a rashie.
I don't know.
Too much drag.
I've never worn a rashie.
Too much drag.
Sorry. Stay sun safe, everyone.
And stay tuned.
But you didn't answer my question.
Topic. How much?
How much money? If someone was like $1 million here in this briefcase, cold hard cash, get Snowies tattooed on your forehead, would you do it?
No.
You wouldn't do it for $1 million.
Why would I want Snowies tattooed on my forehead?
Well, because you could probably use 2,000 of that $1 million to get it removed. God, Ben.
No.
Being ideas, man.
Anyway, life tips with Ben and Lauren, and now back to the Snowy's Camping Show.
You would have to, if you were a brand though, you would have to have a contract of a minimum amount of time. But mind you though, if I saw someone with a brand name tattooed on their forehead, I'm less likely to buy from that brand.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I immediately there's so many reasons why I wouldn't do it. And I wouldn't buy from the brand either because they thought, that's a great idea. Let's put it on this person's forehead.
Anyway, right.
So we've got a short episode today. No, I've already said that. Sorry. I know. I was going to say when you interrupted me, I think I've got someone's stubby cooler and stickers sitting on my desk. So if you're sitting there waiting, I can't remember who it is.
I think I might also have one or two on my desk. Okay. So if you've heard your question answered on here before, double check on Facebook because we've likely messaged and requested your address, but you may not have gotten the notification, or just straight out send us your name and address on Messenger.
Send me my stubby cooler because we've been a bit lazy on that side. Yeah. Anyway, so short, sharp question. Now that we're already 5 minutes into the episode.
Right. So this question is a generic one. It was given to us by the store staff downstairs as a common one. Roof rack storage, best way to stow your gear on your roof rack. And is gear on your roof rack waterproof? Look, I'm assuming that section is gear on your roof rack waterproof, probably from when people were just like, oh, can I just strap my tent to the roof rack and will it be okay in rain? And I would say no, because there's not very many tent bags or gear bags that are waterproof. Mm-hmm. They might be made, and you probably have seen if you've watched our product review videos before, we sort of try to show the material of storage bags a lot of the time, and the material often will have some sort of waterproof coating on the inside. But when we're talking about being on a roof rack and being in driving rain, essentially, you've got to take into consideration all of the seams of the bag and the zip as well, which aren't waterproof. So often a storage bag will be made out of waterproof material, but it's not seam sealed and it doesn't have a waterproof zipper. So in that case, you're going to get some water ingress through that bag if it's on a roof rack.
If you take it a step further, that doesn't mean you can't put it on there, and you can still carry your tent on the roof in rain if you fold it up in such a way that the fly sheet's on the outside to protect the dry inner.
That's true.
So if the outside of the tent gets wet, I carry my Oz tent on the roof in its original bag, and the bag is definitely not waterproof anymore. It's quite thin in places. It's been really well used. The way that folds up, there's going to have to be a significant amount of water water poured on it in full for it to actually leak inside the tent, because it's all kind of folded up. And the most part, anything that seeps through the bag is just seeping to the outside fabric of the tent anyway. So when I put it up, the outside's a little bit damp from transport and the inside's still dry. So you can still do it. You just got to think about how you pack it up there, and maybe which way you put the zip as well, because if you're driving into heavy rain, extra force of the water on the zip. So you can do it. I think this is a really interesting one, and there's no one way to do it. But you got to use some common sense when you pack it. It's a bit like a swag. If you put the swag on the roof, it's going to be dry. If it's just raining straight down, rolled up swag is going to stay dry. If you've got a rolled up swag and you're driving for hours and hours into rain, that rain's going to slowly seep up into the roll of the swag, and potentially, depending on how the swag's rolled up, get inside the swag.
Which is probably more of an issue with swags because they've got the mattress and bedding in there as well.
That's right, yeah.
Whereas the tent, even if there is water ingress and it does sort of get into a tent inner and things, more often than not, if you're on your way camping, it's going to dry out within a day or so once your tent's set up.
Yeah. I talked to how I've done my roof rack over the years, I guess, because I don't have a straightforward answer to say this is the best way. I just say this is how I've managed it. When it's actually just my wife and I when we first started four driving. So the only stuff that needed to stay dry on the roof was in a black plastic tub that was strapped down, so that was waterproof. But when we had kids, suddenly bedding and all that sort of stuff has to go on the roof. So the first thing I did was get a big canvas waterproof gear bag.
Okay,
that straps onto the roof, and that was quite handy.
Do you mean like one of those proper roof rack bags?
Roof rack bag, yeah. Yeah, it was like 1.2 by 1.2 square, or maybe 2 meters long or something like that. It filled most of my platform rack. Big zip around the sides, cover over the top. The canvas fabric was probably waterproof, but it had another layer over the top, and then it had straps that you'd strap down. Bit of mucking around to strap it all down because it kind of had this waterproof layer on the inside and it was a bit sticky. So getting stuff in there was a bit of mucking around, and Velcro all the way around the side. But once you've done it all up, things are waterproof inside that bag. And you didn't have to tie individual things down. You could sort of put it all in there and then just strap it down, and it kept it all secure. And that was a cool way to do it. But there's a bit of mucking around back and forth, one side to the other of the car, put one strap over, the next strap over. You think it's over, then it's caught, so you back over the other side. And but that was kind of handy. When we traveled extensively a few years ago, I didn't use that. But I had a swag tied on the roof. Now, we were heading to dry regions, but it was also like, Northern Territory and Northern WA where you could get rain. Yeah. And we did get caught out in really heavy rain one day.
Is that the green ant story?
This was a bit later than that. But that was a downpour. But there was one day where it was so heavy I could barely see. The rain was so heavy I could barely see sort of 5 to 10 meters in front of the car.
Yeah, right, okay.
And I knew that was coming, but I had a swag tied on the roof. Now, swag has got all of our bedding rolled up inside. Light rain, it's fine. It's going to keep it dry. If it's extended heavy rain, and I knew that was coming, I had to do something about it. So I had a tarp. So I then rolled the swag up, and then wrapped the tarp around, wrapped the swag like a birthday present.
Yeah.
And then tied that on the roof. So that was waterproof. Yeah. So, and that I've now moved to roof bars instead of a roof platform because I need to put my daughter's surf life saving board up and down, and the bars are easy to use. So I'm not sure what I'd do for the next trip.
Yeah, right.
Whether I'd put my platform wrap back on because that's sitting in the car park at Snowy's.
I was going to ask you as well, because sometimes with the RV tents, people talk about flex when they're driving and needing to have a fixed plate. So would you put your RV tent on the 2 rails that you've got?
I would, but probably on the premise that I might just try this to see how it goes so that I can then provide feedback for the customers. I don't think I'd be too concerned about it unless I was doing extensive corrugations.
Yeah,
in
that's
which
true.
case I probably want support. If I'm doing mostly blacktop and some well-maintained dirt road, then I don't think I'd stress over a platform rack just for that.
Yep.
But yeah, if I'm going to be doing days in and out on heavy corrugations, then I probably would put something a little more supportive up the top.
Yeah.
So on the top was my swag. My Oz tent, I didn't put it in anything. I just left it in that bag in all of that rain, and it got wet, but we were still dry on the inside. Trying to think what else I had up there, like fishing rods, and I think whatever other things that could just get wet, like my stove stand. I just tied flat up there
because that doesn't matter.
So I don't know if there's not a best way, I should say, to do it. You got to work with what you've got. I would firstly try and put as much as you can in the back of your car or under cover.
Yeah.
For two reasons. It's out of the rain, but secondly, it pulls the weight of your vehicle down. I was going to say
the
low.
weight. Yeah.
Yep. And lastly, put up the top what you know. Firstly, the lightweight stuff that can get wet. So you're not worried about having to put it in bags. I mean, it might sound good. Oh, it's all waterproof if I wrap it in this. Are you going to do that every morning if you're on an extended trip?
Yeah.
Because it becomes very tiring, especially if it gets hot or it's wet and you're like, I've still got to wrap all this stuff in its waterproof container. So put stuff up there that can stay dry. And lastly, if you have to put bulky stuff up there, then have a tie up at hand, or you can get large waterproof swag bags or roll top bags that you can put gear in and then just strap that down onto the roof as well.
Here's a question, and it's just a rhetorical one because obviously you don't know the answer and I don't know the answer specifically, but Oztrail used to do this bag called a swag sack. Do you remember that? It was white and it had like mil spec, like Hyperlon welded mil spec tie downs on each side. It was white. It was huge. Oztrail.
Yes.
Yep. Swag sack. Huge, mungus. You could fit like a massive queen swag in there. You could fit literally any tent that you could think of. It was so good. Obviously marketed as a waterproof swag bag. It was essentially like a massive dry sack. You just slid it all in on one end. That had the best application for use, and we would recommend that for everybody who wanted to have a waterproof bag to chuck things on the roof. Right? They stopped making it. Don't know why. They just stopped making it. Then Coleman brought out a waterproof tent sack. Pretty much exactly the same premise, fully black, fit all of the tents in all the way up to their massive North Star tent.
For their instant up range,
For their instant up range, obviously applicable to use for every other brand of tent. I think it was huge. It fit up to like 2 meters long or whatever. It was like 60 centimeters. Then they discontinued as well. So there are these two different brands that have manufactured these amazing roll top waterproof bags that just don't sell them anymore. And nobody's sort of replaced that in the market. And so I've often wondered to myself why they would get rid of that in their range. And I'm like, maybe is it the manufacturing cost with the way that the material, like one being like a PVC waterproof material, the way that it has to be manufactured, being like seam welded is potentially the manufacturing cost outweigh what they could ask for. But yes, Darchi do those Nero gear bags now.
I'm just showing Lauren this Darchi's option. I think.
And the Darchi ones are good. The Nero gear bags. Caribou also do a roll top, Expedition wet roll top bag, which is fully waterproof. They're excellent. They're duffel bags, but their top opening or their top access like a normal duffel bag, but it's like a long tube which then rolls down. It's just not, whilst they're excellent, it's just not as versatile as the old Coleman waterproof tent bag and the Oztrail swag sack because, as I said, it was like that 2.5 meter long wide bag. You could just endlessly roll and roll and roll. So if you wanted to put something 1 meter long in, you could. If you wanted to, you know what I mean? A lot more versatile.
They were end loading, weren't they?
They were end loading. Yeah. Whereas these ones are all top loading, and you obviously would need to buy different sizes depending on the gear that you want stored. And a lot of tents fit in the 190 or the 240.
To be honest, I don't know if I probably wouldn't worry about one of those bags for a tent. I think it's probably overkill.
Yeah.
What I want is a waterproof bag. If you think sleeping bags, mats,
mats,
bulky, right?
Yeah, they are.
And they're light. So they're perfect for the roof, but they can't get wet.
Yeah.
So you need a waterproof bag to put them in. So the Daci Nero is the one we're talking about, and 23-0 I've got a smaller 60-kilo one, a 60-litre one called Trans Pack or something.
Trans Pack.
Yep. These are top loading, so rather than sliding it into the end, and if you slide it in the end, it means whatever you've put at the bottom, you've got to pull everything out to get to the thing at the bottom. So that was what the Austrail ones were like. These are top loading, so you can open up the top, put all your stuff in, roll top down, and then tie it on top of the roof. So I think these are probably more versatile for other gear. But I know what you mean. If you want to put something in a tent in a waterproof bag, then the Austrail or the Coleman solution were good. I think the Coleman one was probably quite expensive in comparison to the cost of the tent.
Yeah, right.
That's probably where the barrier was. You spend $400 on a tent and then $150 on a bag. It was the economics of that didn't make sense to most people. I think that's where the barrier was. But maybe if it had a different brand on it,
maybe
for
I don't know,
more expensive tent.
But it's like, for example, a Nebula 1550 swag, which I've got. We don't have a waterproof bag that will fit that.
Well,
so in that case, the only instance is a tarp.
So in that instance, it's not, because you've got canvas swag bags.
True, but they're not waterproof.
They're not waterproof. They have a zip, but I think that's okay because the swag, remember, is waterproof.
It with the zip facing down.
Yep, you could. Yep, but the swag itself is waterproof. So all you're really stopping, as you said, zip down. And so I think I did have my swag in a AOS swag bag. Now that I think of it.
Yeah.
But by the time that rain came around, that AOS swag bag was really well used and was starting to show that it was one of the lighter weight ones, not the heavy duty ones. But I did pack it with the zip down. So if I'm in really, really heavy driving rain, you might get a little bit of water coming through a seam. And with these canvas swag bags for your swag, you put it in a Daci or a 23-0 swag bag. The seams are waterproof-ish. Under heavy driving rain, you might get a little bit of water through.
I suppose it's like canvas, right? Seasoned bag, it'll tighten up.
But say it does get through there. Say you've got a synthetic one and the water does get through one of those seams around the end, and then it gets on the canvas fabric of the swag. It's no longer under driving force because it's inside the bag.
That is true.
And it's going to be a little bit moist on the outside, and the inside of your swag is going to be dry. Yeah. So you don't need a 100% waterproof bag for a swag. Yeah. You just kind of need to stop that driving rain from seeping right inside the roll section of the bag.
That is true.
That's my thoughts anyway. I don't think there's a right way to pack a roof rack.
It's definitely reasonable thoughts.
It will be waterproof. You don't have to completely seal things up from being waterproof. Remember that whatever you get off the roof is going to sit out, and if that bit gets wet while you're camping, that bit can get wet while it's on your roof as well. Is protecting the sleeping gear inside that to make sure that stays dry.
And like your good old polyurethane tarp doesn't take up a huge amount of space.
Super versatile.
So even if you just have one stashed in your car, maybe in your spare wheel even, that you can just whip out if you happen to need it in an emergency or really crazy rain like you're talking about.
I just folded mine so that it kind of a consideration of the vehicle moving forward, so the water kind of sheds off the back, doesn't catch anywhere. The folds underneath, strapped it down with the straps as I normally do on the outside of the tarp, and it was fine. So, yeah.
Cool.
But keen to know other people's hacks, I suppose, for packing stuff on a roof rack. What do you do to make it easy? Because it's probably one of the things I like the least. I keep thinking I want about 30% more boot space so I can just get some stuff in the boot. And I always just take my roof racks off because they create noise. I don't like putting stuff up there all the time, or what I have got up there, I just want to leave up there and make it really easy to get on and off, especially if you're in, I know when I was in really hot, 40 degrees and 80% humidity.
So the last thing you want to be doing.
Pit, standing on a tire, tying stuff down on a roof. With the
one thing I do want to note is we've got a Moki step back in stock. Now, we had these in stock for years and they flew out the door, and then for some reason we couldn't get them anymore, and I don't know why, but we haven't had them, and now they're back. And essentially they're just this really hardcore, heavy duty, little solid step with a hook. So you just open up your door and then it hooks over the little door latch and then you can just stand up and access the top of your vehicle. Super easy. They're the best, even just to have if you're a cyclist, or not even for camping, but if you ever need to access your roof rack at any time. Yeah.
I've got I've got steps on the side of my car, but they're okay if I want to access the side of the roof rack, but if I have to get over to the middle, it's a real stretch to get over there, whereas these take it up a step. The back wheel is the right height to stand on. Yeah. This Moki step probably brings that option up to similar height to the back wheel. So you could almost use that and
Are
get
you
rid
a
of the
rope
side
guy?
steps.
I'm a quick release strap guy.
I love knots and ropes, but I have used straps for the most part because it is a bit quicker, particularly if you've got mounting points and you're doing the same thing each time and you've got hooks on the end of your straps. You can just hook it on, tighten it up, do the loop up.
I think Tie Gear have got some cool new products coming in that tie down sort of sphere soon, don't they, in the next
Tie Gear
month
have
or
got
so?
a lot of cool stuff. We're trying to get them on the podcast, so keep an eye out for that. There's some new stuff on the website now, but there is some pretty awesome stuff.
Things coming down
on
the
their
line.
website at the moment, so check it out, and that's all going to be available at Snowy's too.
Cool.
Cool.
Catch you later.
All right, thanks guys. See you next time.